Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome. What does it take to transform abandonment, childhood trauma, and adversity into a life of leadership, advocacy, and accomplishments? We are going to be discussing this today on our show, Iconic Women, here at USA Global TV and Radio. If you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio, and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I want to introduce my guests, and then we will do a proper introduction. Welcome to the show, Dana Priyanka Hammond. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being on your show and looking forward to our conversation.
So am I. And so you are an author. You are also a songwriter, which is really cool. And you are a speaker and you are an advocate helping other people who have gone through and or are going through trauma. Tell us a little bit about your backstory and how you got started on this journey.
Well, the journey did begin where I was 4 years old and I got kidnapped from my family, thrown in a rice sack. And that was my first trauma at the age of 4. So just being able to endure the first level and not knowing, having a say in my life or knowing what was happening to me, it really began the first trajectory of my life of what was to come next. And just having to endure that level of trauma and not knowing what was happening to me as I was being trafficked as a child.
Dana, I know this is a difficult subject and a challenging one, but this is going on all over the world. So I thank you for your courage and your bravery. At what point did you realize what was happening to you wasn't legal or wasn't the way it was supposed to be?
Well, like I said, I was 4 years old, but I knew everything in me as a little girl that something was not right and something bad was happening to me. So whatever I could formulate as a little child, that's pretty much what I could interpretate. And that's when I knew that I had to be really on alert concerning my life and trying to figure out what's going on, what's going to happen next, and just ride through the storm of seeing what was going to happen next.
And how long did this actually go on, this trafficking?
I would say like all day, all night, because I was in some stranger's back in a rice sack. So it was unbeknownst to me. So, but it was an all day journey, throughout the whole night, after when this person was, walking on the gravel road all day, by foot. We ended up being in the train station, in the train, I mean. So that was another journey in itself, just riding far away somewhere, I don't know where.
So all of this is going on. You have no idea what's happening. And then at some point it comes to an end, at least what was taking place, but not what you endured. emotionally, spiritually, physically, that lives on long after. But when did it actually stop?
Well, when the time was where I think this person got spooked or something, because I was at the train station in Pune, India, and there was a lot of people there, and there was a crowd, so I pretty much got left behind. And but I knew and I could feel and sense like some kind of invisible force protecting me. So I knew from then on my life was not in danger anymore. So that's when somebody found me and put me in the orphanage.
So you went through all of this traumatic experience, and then you ended up in an orphanage. And
Yeah.
at that time, when you were in the orphanage, was that something you were happy about? Did you feel that you were seen and that you were loved and cared for?
No, not really. No, it was just in the orphanage. It was like, oh, another abandoned kid or another kid who was found. You know, it's just they kind of really did their job. And as a child, like I said, you're in the hands of adults who's supposed to be taking care of you, and you really don't have a say in your life. But you would think that was gonna be like my safe journey then, but my greater history of life began actually from that point of after when I got adopted, and that's when more trauma came in to play.
It's really fascinating to me. We actually interviewed someone who runs a center for children who have been trafficked. And the one thing that she shared that really stood out was that adults are the ones who are supposed to keep kids safe, and adults are the ones who are committing the crimes.
Yeah.
And you think, for example, your child gets invited to a sleepover party, and meanwhile you have no idea that cousin XYZ is visiting. And I don't have any children. I cannot imagine what it's like, but it seems quite terrifying that adults are doing this to innocent children. So you're now adopted and hoping that life is going to turn the corner. But as you just mentioned, that's not what happened. So what was next?
No, actually, my story ended up being really bad end of adoption. Yeah, everything a child that's supposed to have a safe haven, security, adults who are responsible over you, protection. You would think you get that after adoption, but not every family is made equal, and not every family is the same. And some family are traumatized family, and their intentions are not always right. So I got adopted into a family who severely abused me after going through malnourishment in India to then jumping into America, where, yeah, maybe like first year of their life, they just took care of me because that was they had to. But then after that, all that dwindled down. There was the malnourishment, there was the physical, mental, verbal abuse. There was the trauma that the safety of home was not there, security of the home was not there. Being treated like an invisible ghost, like I didn't even exist. That was reality for me, and no love, incomplete structure of a home. It wasn't there for me. So it was like secondhand nature clothes when I needed my well-being wasn't completely taken care of. So when it came to like learning another language, I had to solely rely that on school to learn another language, understand a different culture, understand the environment that I was placed in.
Just to summarize, so you already were trafficked. You're in
Yeah.
India.
Yeah.
you end up getting adopted and brought over to the United States, and
Yeah.
this nightmare continues. So, what
Mm.
I want our audience to realize is the United States is an amazing place. It really is. But crime goes on here too, friends. It's not just in other parts of the world, because I talk to a lot of Americans and people just want to bury their heads in the sand and say, well, that's not going on here. Yes, it is. It is going on here. So, Dana, what did you do, if anything, to get out of this situation? In other words, how long did this go on and when did that end?
Well, when it comes to like total neglect over my life, and as I'm developing and growing, it went on till like until I was 11 years old, when I was almost 12. But now I'm dealing with, because I don't have safety at home. I went through molestation, abuse, sexual abuse, like around age 10. I was locked out of my own home. The parents would oftentimes drive by me and not even stop to pick me up. So my way to get into school or anywhere I wanted to go, I had to walk. Survival was getting food at school only, and during the summer I was starved because there was no nutrition, and or I would have to go steal food or beg a neighbor for food or something. So that was my survival. So in the meantime, by the age of 11, I finally, um, when my voice was suppressed, I finally was like, okay, I can't do this anymore, after running away a couple of times and stuff like that. And I told the school counselor, and that's when everything began, where the school called CPS. Even though it seemed like the school wasn't concerned about the abuse or even what I was going through at school, when I was being bullied at school because of my skin difference or I looked different, and then having to go home going through abuse and neglected. And neighbors didn't really care, because I was in a small town in Iowa, and because I was of different race, there was racism, you know. So I don't think in the small city where I grew up, people really cared, and they didn't really intervene. So yeah, so I had to really fight for my life and on my own, and that was at the age of 11, like I said. So I, even if the school noticed or neighbors noticed, they never intervened unless if I said something.
So, regardless of where you are, whether it was at school, whether it was playing in the neighborhood, or was at home, you never felt safe.
No.
And no adult actually acted like they cared about your well being. And
That's correct.
so, how did you mentally, at 11, how did you mentally protect yourself so that this didn't completely devastate and ruin you psychologically?
I actually was manically depressed. So um, I my protection wasn't really protection. It was more like how do I even breathe? How do I get through the day? And so finally, I'm like, I said, listen, I can't go through this anymore. I went through to a school counselor, and I'm like, can you please get me out of here? I'm scared of these people. And I was informed by a cop that they don't take children out unless if you have a mark on their body and on your body. And so that's I had to wait until I got a mark on my body or some kind of abuse to show that I was being abused, and that's what I did. Once I got a mark, one night coming from home from school, my basketball game, I got abused, and I used that as a initial ammo to help me to even live, as because I knew I couldn't handle it much longer after having to fight for my brain from splitting in half and going through even more.
I'm just outraged and horrified that you've had to go through this. The fact that you reached out to an adult at school to say, hey, I can't live like this anymore. And then you talk to the police, are like, we need to see some kind of evidence. It's incredible. It's a broken system. I know from speaking to the woman who runs this care center for children, she said there must be a police report. If there's no police report, they cannot talk to the children. So I don't know what happens with the system itself, but I really am so glad that you're here talking to us today. And before we take the break and we talk about the turnaround, tell us what happened after you finally got out of these unhealthy environments. Where did you go next?
Yeah, well, the unhealthy environment that kept following me, of course, because the system itself doesn't take care of you. The system is, you're kind of like another number for them. Even I went into a shelter after this circumstance, and then they placed me in a permanent foster home. And even there, it was like you didn't even exist. You were just another number, another cash cow, just like I felt that way with my first adoptive parents, I was just a cash cow. And when the state comes and check up on you, they don't ask the child a question. I wish they do ask the children, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But they don't. They initially go to the parents and they're like, oh, well, how are you doing? And they don't realize that the parents, they can cover up all they want, and they do. They cover up all they want and say, oh, everything's good. And that's what happened to me. There was a lot of coverage. There was a lot of pretending that everything was good. I never asked an initial question, apparently because with the state system, I wasn't old enough. And then when I ended up being in foster care, it was pretty much the same thing. Like, the state don't believe you as a child or even as a teen. They rather take the adult hearsay. Even when with my foster parents, I remember when they were ready to get rid of me, they said I was the abuser. I abused this little girl, and I tried to tell my state counselor, I said, who was assigned to me, I said, you got to believe me. I didn't do nothing to that person, that child. They just said that to get rid of me, So it's more, the state is built more for the adults than for the children, honestly.
It sounds like that. And I've heard something similar from other people we've interviewed who have been through horrific situations. So before we go to the break, what is a message of hope that you can give to our audience? And then we're going to talk about your turnaround and come back.
I would say that whatever internally that you do feel and experience is not all necessary. It may feel like you're exaggerating or it's very intensive, but sometimes when certain things repeat itself, it means there's truth in it, and you just listen to that inner voice, and that truth will stand firm for you.
I love that. Listen to your intuition and your inner voice. Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break, and we are actually going to hear from one of our team members. Her name is Vera Haywood. Let's take a look at what she has to say. What happens when life tries to break you? When the pain is unimaginable, the losses are overwhelming, and every step forward feels impossible. There comes a moment, a choice. Will you surrender or will you rise? From breast cancer survivor to survivor of domestic abuse to inspiring thousands around the world, Vera Haywood shares a deeply personal journey of courage, healing, and transformation. This isn't just a story about surviving. It's about rediscovering your purpose, reclaiming your voice, and becoming stronger than the challenges you never asked for. Discover unstoppable resilience, heal, rise, and reclaim your power by Vera Haywood. Continue the journey on the Unstoppable Life with Vera Haywood exclusively on USA Global TV and Radio. Welcome back to this episode of Iconic Women. And I just want to say, if you are in a situation where you are being abused, if you are being trafficked, if you know that something is not right, please find a way to speak up. We've heard stories of people leaving notes, people going up to strangers, and maybe they have something on their hand. There are many ways, if you have access and you know that you're not going to suffer some kind of consequences, please do not sit in silence, because it is absolutely horrific what is going on in this world. And I'm super glad and grateful that we have Dana here telling us her story of what she's been through and how she's managed to turn the corner. Welcome back to the show, Dana Priyanka Hammond. It's nice to have you back.
Thank you.
So, Dana, when you're sharing your story today, many times we go back there, right? We talk about it and we can actually visualize that we're there again. Mm-hmm. And that keeps us from moving forward. How do you feel when you're sharing your story?
I don't mind it. I feel like there's a sense of peace or calm because I've had to share my story several times. I would say when I first started in my life to share my story, it was very traumatizing. But until I went through the journey of healing and to write it on paper, write it in book, I put it in book. That really, 20 years of my life, that really gave me a sense of a journey to heal, because it was addressing my pain. It was addressing the core center of the trauma. And because trauma had followed me throughout the period of my time. And so when you have an unstable life like I did, it really makes you to face value of what you experience and endure. And I really think that it's really needed for even a lot of people who go through trauma, whether it's writing or whether it's having a counselor or somebody that you can find outside of you that can give you that support. It's the best medicine that you can ever have.
Absolutely. By being able to share your story and get your voice out, whether it's through speaking or through being on television or through the written word, it is liberating, because I feel myself, I've been raped and have my own story, but putting it down in pen and paper, it's almost like, okay, I got it out of my system. I put it there into writing, and now I can help other people. So right. Tell us now, where are you today and what are you doing?
Well, essentially, when I wrote things on pen and paper, it was like vomiting all over the place. It was like getting rid of the toxicity and stuff like that. I would say that led to the journey of healing where I'm at now, and to finally be on a self-discovery road, understand what my purpose is and promises. So I don't completely say, oh, I truly arrived, and but I every day is a work in progress. Like even today, I still get the intensive care that I've been needing, having to take medication for mental health, because this is a long-term process, and the progress that I've gone through, because trauma has followed me, abuse has followed me. So it's getting going through getting re-affliction to having to not be re-afflicted, or having to accept the fact that, oh, you're abusing other people as well. So understanding that now the roles have flipped, and understanding that you have to pull out the weeds and you have to go through the healing. So that has allowed me to now, as I'm going through my healing journey, has allowed me to build DanaPriyankaHammond.com, where people can go in and get some sort of help, get maybe some questions answered, help them on their own healing journey. So that's what I've been doing. I have also published several books. The first one was the memoir of my story. And then there's the solo journey, why you don't need others to find fulfillment. That's my healing book. And then there's that second memoir book, and how I found God and why God had a huge role to play in the stability where I'm at now.
So it sounds like faith has had a definite impact on what you're doing and how you're feeling about yourself.
It did. It had a major, major role into going from, as a child, having no control over your own life, other people having a say in your life, controlling this, controlling that, controlling, to then having to figure out how to even have control over my own life. And that was a scary thing for me, to make decisions for my own self, and having to overcome all that, to then finding faith. And faith was the very reason to where I am at right now. And in my acknowledgement part, and having to take responsibility as an adult to heal for my own self, having to, because now no other adult is responsible over you. And this had to occur even after I got adopted again, and then that failed miserably because I was a traumatized teen, and they didn't know what to do with me. And then in my 20s, I endured more trauma. It's like when trauma follows you, that's all you know of. And then having to take responsibility over what adults have done to you, and taking responsibility and maturing from that, that's another level, because I feel like faith and what God intended for us is really for us to now take control and be empowered in our own life, and then also create something to really say to others, hey, I understand. I may not be perfect, but here is something that maybe I can assist you on or help you on, to help you to go through your own process. Because maturity really says, hey, now I may be like a 20-year-old or 30-year-old or 40-year-old stuck in a 4-year-old body, but I have to heal in my own, because nobody else is going to take responsibility over me anymore. So I'm responsible for me, for all the damage that's been done. And so I go from that to where I'm at now.
That is a lot to have to deal with on a regular basis and still go through life and be productive. So I really give you a lot of credit. My question is, when does your past interfere with your present?
I think that when you get reminder of triggers, or you sense a trigger, or you get sense, something that flares up, that's when your past comes to your present. And our job is to acknowledge it, accept it, but then we have to heal from it. And oftentimes, like, because I don't really have like a mom and dad or anyone else in my life after 2 failed adoptions, I've had to take on the role of the responsibility for my own life, take on the role to go through my own healing journey, and find outside resource that could help my healing journey, as well as my own healing journey. When I wrote my memoirs, wrote my books, that helped me with my healing, and with God being in place, that helped my healing. With me taking mental health medication, that's helping me with my healing, and to be able to process properly in my head, and explain my story without feeling all crashing down. So I think these things have a lot of role to play in have doing intensive care, that's helping me. So it's really having to now be the mature one, to love on myself, to take care of me, to give myself grace to heal. And healing is not linear. It's up and down, up and down. It's going to keep bring in the past, it's going to bring in the present, it's going to intermingle with the present, and it's going to affect you. So that's the journey, unfortunately, we all have to go through.
Dana, it's very empowering to hear you share your story and talk about how you have healed and you are healing, because it is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
And so now you are taking what happened to you and you're helping others. And you're doing it in a number of ways, whether it's through the written word, through the spoken word, through the sung word, and other ways. How are you helping people?
Well, I had, once I discovered my gift, I understood my gift was writing. In my gift of writing, I understood that nothing was impossible, even if I was dealing with a disability, whether it's learning disability or just mental health disability, that really stuck with me. I still trust and believe God that I'm going to be healed, even in this place where I have to take medication. So while I'm helping others through my road of discovery, and through my progress, the things that have taken and transformed in my life. The success was because of the doors that were open to me. So I help others to publish their own story. So that's one thing I do. I help them publish their own story. If they desire to write their story like I have, I do that. I've written songs to and publish the music that will allow people to be able to relate. I've put messages out there. I've put myself on podcasts so people can relate. It's not because I'm better, because I'm not better. It's because I have a message to share. I have a story to share that's been a lot to do with overcoming, but it doesn't mean that I have completely arrived. But it's because I took something that was a strength of mine, which was writing, and I was able to write it and put it in songs. I was able to put it in books. I was able to, and for me, that's the only gift that I know of right now that I have is writing. So I only one gift that I have, I utilize it. And so that's how I was able to empower myself and share my message out there and share what healing looks like. Healing doesn't totally look like you have fully arrived. Healing looks like continue to go through the process while you're in this journey of a healthy place. You're working on being in a healthy place. Not your family is not all together. You're not all together all the way, but you are mature enough to acknowledge it.
That is quite an accomplishment, all that you have created and published. And we were sharing for anybody who later will be listening on a podcast platform and can't see or couldn't see the TV screen, from Amazon, all of Dana's contributions through song and through book. So thank you for that. Dana, who is a good person to reach out to you? Somebody's watching today and they're like, you know what? This is resonating with me and I need some help.
Yeah. I'm just here to encourage others. So if somebody does feel like they need to talk to me and they're like, oh wow, I can really resonate with you, or or if they feel like they want to write their own story, and they can check out, author DPH. No, that's my, sorry, I'm sorry. That was my author DPH is my author website, but there is dphpublishing.com. That's my publishing company. So it helps them to write, helps them to get stuff together, their mind and thought, and I help coach people through in their writing, especially if it's their dream to write or something like that. So if they can, those are the great people to reach out to me, dphpublishing.com. People who just want to talk, who needs encouragement, a word of encouragement, or people who just, just want to say a word or two, or just, it's just because I am here as a peer support mentor, peer support advocate. So I'm here just to support any way, which way or how, that can maybe enlighten them and help them in their journey.
The tools that you offer are profound. The first is helping people share their story. And people might be trepidatious. They might be intimidated. They might think, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. What do you say to them, Dana?
I wouldn't say that's necessarily true, because as much as that you may feel like, oh, nobody wants to hear you, I can say the same thing about myself. But you know what? I found out that's not true. Everybody has a message, whether it's severe or whether it's not as severe. Some people may want to hear how you've been stabilized in your life, how you did overcome. People want to hear, not everything's about a trauma story. Not in some people, for some people it is about trauma story. It could be you being a single mom, or whatever the case is. You have a message out there that somebody needs to hear.
And it looks to me like what you're offering is full service from the book creation to publishing preparation to actually getting it published. And the other thing is, you have your own books and your own music that is out there that are tools that people can also refer to as well.
Yes. If they want to read about my overcoming story and everything that I've gone through, I highly encourage them to read it, and also read how they can also heal. My books provide that. My books provide encouragement, enlightenment. It provides overcoming and how to overcome. So if you are interested in hearing a little bit more detail about my story, I put it out there. But I also put out there even though it's in different segments of books, I put out there what it looks like to heal, what it looks like to go through the healing. So, these are the tools that I offer with my read.
Thank you, Dana. My last question, I think, is really important, which is, there are people out there now who have been abused, who are being abused, and they have children.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it is difficult for people to break that pattern, because that might be all people know. So if somebody is out there and they are abusing their children, what words of encouragement can you offer? What can you suggest that they do?
I would say, if that's not what you want, don't feel discouraged. Actually get the help, because and on top of that, reach out to Jesus, because Jesus will help you. And your healing journey is not gonna go overnight. It's a process. Your children has to heal. You have to heal. Every damage that's been done to you, you end up doing to others, and you have to heal. I mean, there's no ifs, buts, and ands. And that healing process is different for everybody. But healing is available to those who want it.
I love that. Thank you so much. We have all of your contact details that we've been sharing in the notes, but for people who are just joining, we're just going to bring up your various ways for people to get in touch with you. First, you have your author page, your author website. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, this is solely on my books and who I am and my author work. So that's what my author page is.
Okay. And this website, your main website?
This main DanaPriyankaHammond.com is just offering tools and guidance on people who may want to hear a little bit more about healing, and they can ask, how do I receive healing, or how can I receive, and what's the steps? So this really provides that type of tools.
All right. And then we also have your DPH publishing website.
And this is where my publishing company comes in place. And if you are really interested in going through the journey of publishing your book, putting your manuscript out there, this is where you can reach out to me on helping you being an author.
And then we also have your Instagram account.
Yes, my social media is just one of places, one of these to come reach out to me. So however, you have many different ways you can reach out to me. So my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, however you feel the necessary means to reach out to me. These are many of the ways you can reach out to me.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for being here. And we want to give a special thank you to our colleague and friend and team member, Robert J. Moore, who is the founder of Next Level Coaching, Inc. Thank you for sending Dana our way. Dana, we wish you all the best, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future. Thank you for sharing your story. Please do reach out to Dana. Obviously, what she shared is very compelling. And I know she's not alone. I know there are people out there right now who are being abused, who are literally terrified for their life. And it shouldn't be this way, especially with innocent children. So we all have a choice. If you see something, say something, do something, instead of just looking the other way and hoping that someone else will take care of it. And if someone comes to you and tells you that they're experiencing something, listen, you could change someone's life. Thank you for being here. And if you haven't done so, please do go over and subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio, and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. We're going to close out our show today with a message from one of our colleagues. Her name is Tracy Cram Perkins. She was very helpful to me. My mother had dementia and she passed away. I was her full-time caregiver, and Tracy really helped me. She's written a book, and it's sold at the last point, I think, was over 17,000 copies. And she also is the host of Dementia Home Care before, during, and after. So if you know someone who has dementia, it is a tough road, especially if you are the caregiver. So take a look. This book can help change your life. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
How much of your value have you been giving away? Saying yes when the answer should have been no? Lowering your price to secure the opportunity? Giving more while receiving less? Over time, it adds up. Until one moment brings clarity, you've been giving away your value. This is not about working harder. This is not about doing more. It's about boundaries. It's about pricing. It's about respect. From Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck comes a direct and necessary message. Stop over-delivering. Stop underpricing your expertise. Stop negotiating against yourself. Because when you recognize your value, everything changes. Stop giving away your value. Boundaries, pricing, and the business of respect. Available now wherever fine books are sold and on Amazon. A film by USA Global TV and Radio. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Videographer and cinematic production Paul Garcia. Voiceover by Ed Vargas. Stop giving it away. Start owning it.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.